into complete panic mode after some trusted Disney critics even turned against Marvel after seeing Ironheart. Now, one significant development going on now involves more to do with Ironheart firings, and now the drama surrounding that worsened for both Marvel and Disney. It turns out
an uncomfortable place for viewers as we find out more about the crew.
Here's the squad. Clown, our pyrotechnic specialist.
There's Clown, our pyrotechnics. That means she sets fire to things.
Natalie AI thing seems utterly preposterous and ridiculous, and even for an MCU show, I'm finding it to be a little bit of a bridge too far to go. The heist crew, all lame. Every single one of them, all lame.
In a shocking twist no one saw coming, or maybe everyone did, Marvel's once promising Ironheart series has imploded before it even hit Disney screens. Firings, feuds, fan backlash, and poor Dominique Thorne finds herself at the center of a storm that's shaking the very foundations of the MCU. Buckle up, folks. This is Marvel's biggest behind-the-scenes drama yet. Marvel Studios' Ironheart series was supposed to be the spiritual successor to Iron Man, a high-tech genius, a new kind of armored hero, a fresh face to inspire the next generation. What we got instead, a public meltdown behind the curtain. Executives are calling it Marvel's most catastrophic project yet.
HR.
The first character I could get behind is a bloke that loves knives and throws them at people. That's the foundation of a good TV series right there. That's why the show hated it.
Hi, I'm John. My parents didn't say I love you, so now I play with knives.
Hi, I've got 70 IQ. I can't abstract and think I'm the center of the universe. I can't comprehend anything that isn't me, so I just think men are broke.
And no, that's not hyperbole. Early test audiences reportedly described it as the worst Marvel show ever made. Harsh? Maybe. But given the reaction to She-Hulk and Secret Invasion, that bar was already subterranean. Let that sink in. People walked out of test screenings. Disney executives are pointing fingers. Kevin Feige, Marvel's golden boy, allegedly fired the entire marketing team behind the show in a fit of rage. Some were blacklisted, others escorted out quietly. Heads rolled, all before a single episode aired. And poor Dominique Thorne, she's caught in the crossfire, facing backlash for a role that, let's be honest, Marvel never properly set up. Look, it's not Dominique Thorne's fault. She's a capable actress. But let's rewind.
And why she's frustrated. That's how I feel watching her interviews.
How do you feel about the impact that she's having on young Black girls? And I'm going to be completely honest, on Black women.
You know, this is yet another area that's getting vibrant. It's getting full in the way that it should be.
Did anyone walk out of Wakanda forever saying, wow, I can't wait for a full series about that MIT student with the Iron Man suit? No, that's because Ironheart was introduced with zero buildup and maximum agenda. No origin arc, no relatable struggle. Just a genius teenager reverse engineering a suit in her dorm room, like she downloaded the blueprints off Pinterest. Meanwhile, the MCU fandom, already burned out by a slew of underwhelming Phase 4 projects, collectively shrugged. Where's the emotional depth of Tony Stark, the swagger, the stakes? Nowhere. It's not about race, or gender, or age. It's about writing. And Marvel's writer's room feels more like a shareholder boardroom these days. From the very beginning, the Ironheart series was built on shaky ground, and not the kind of shaky that leads to underdog triumphs. No, this was more like pouring a billion-dollar franchise onto a foundation of quicksand. Internally, insiders knew something was off. The vibe wasn't right. And despite the glossy Disney rollout plans, a shadow of doubt loomed large over the project.
It deserves your attention. Ironheart deserves your attention. That's how I knew. I was like, oh, they are desperate to get people to watch this damn show. After I did my reaction, I kept getting, hey, it wasn't that bad. I just watched it. Hey, I just watched the first 3 episodes. It wasn't that bad.
Let's rewind. Ironheart was greenlit during a chaotic period inside Marvel, a time marked by bloated pipelines, internal power struggles, and a desperate need to churn out content rather than carefully curated storytelling. According to insiders, the Ironheart pitch went through multiple revisions before even being approved, and much of the green light had more to do with politics than passion. There was mounting pressure at the time to rapidly expand the MCU's diversity portfolio. Riri Williams, a young, Black, female tech genius, checked all the corporate boxes. And that's where things went sideways. While representation absolutely matters, shoving a character into the spotlight without properly establishing her narrative roots is a recipe for disaster. Riri's brief, shoehorned appearance in Wakanda Forever was supposed to serve as a launching pad. Instead, it left audiences confused. She didn't have a compelling arc. There was no emotional hook. No hint of the inner struggle that made Tony Stark, the man whose legacy she was supposed to inherit, so iconic, Back at Marvel Studios, creative teams scrambled. The Ironheart show was rushed into production with an overinflated budget rumored to be well over $200 million, placing it on par with flagship theatrical releases. Worse, the show's original story arc, which involved deeply mystical themes and a clash with a new villain known as the Hood, didn't mesh with fan expectations of a grounded, tech-driven successor to Iron Man. This mystical versus technological angle caused major confusion behind the scenes, forcing endless rewrites and re-edits. One Marvel insider even described it as trying to blend Iron Man with Doctor Strange and Euphoria, and failing miserably. Dominique Thorne, talented as she is, was handed a script that gave her little to work with. Showrunners struggled to give her character weight and vulnerability. Instead of Riri Williams earning the suit, and the responsibility were simply placed in her lap. That sense of earned legacy, which was key to MCU fan loyalty for characters like Sam Wilson as Cap or even Peter Parker's emotional arc, was completely missing. Behind the scenes, the chaos deepened. According to leaked reports and first-hand testimony from crew members, Marvel's VFX teams were stretched thin and asked to do near-impossible turnaround times. Show directors and writers often found themselves overruled by producers looking to shoehorn in corporate mandates rather than focus on coherent storytelling. One source even claimed that entire subplots were removed in post-production because test audiences found them cringe or off-putting. Bob Iger's return to Disney only added fuel to the fire. He reportedly reviewed early cuts of the show and was visibly frustrated with the direction Marvel had taken. The series, in his eyes, symbolized everything wrong with the new Disney model: high spending, low returns, and narratives that alienated rather than energized audiences. And here's the twist: Ironheart wasn't just another risky project. It was originally supposed to serve as a cornerstone for the MCU's next generation. There were plans for crossovers with Armor Wars, Young Avengers, and even Doctor Doom-related plotlines. All of that now either scrapped or on indefinite hold. So yes, Ironheart was doomed. Not because the idea was bad, a young black woman taking up the tech mantle could have been groundbreaking, but because Marvel treated her less like a character and more like a corporate checkbox. And in doing so, they not only failed Dominique Thorne but risked alienating a generation of fans looking for something real, raw, and rooted in narrative, not branding. Bob Iger didn't just frown, he flipped the table. Sources close to the studio say Iger was embarrassed by the internal trailers and panicked when early reports painted the show as another Acolyte-level disaster. More on that in a minute. Kevin Feige, under pressure, initiated a mass firing spree. Marketing teams gone, VFX departments downsized, animation contractors terminated. The worst part? Many of these creatives were just executing orders from above. Some insiders even claim that employees are being punished for content that Disney itself approved. We're talking lawsuits, quiet settlements, talent being iced out of future MCU projects because their name was on the wrong storyboard. Meanwhile, Dominique Thorne's team has reportedly gone radio silent. No press tours, no promo interviews, no Comic-Con teasers. It's damage control, Marvel style. Ironheart's failure isn't isolated. It's pulling down other projects with it. Planned cameos for Armor Wars? Scrapped. Crossovers and Agatha all along? Cut. MCU timelines involving tech-sharing arcs? Completely rewritten. The panic is real. It's not just Ironheart sinking, it's the whole boat. And you better believe Feige's lifeboat has RDJ's name scribbled on the side, because if all else fails, nostalgia to the rescue. Let's not ignore the Avengers. Doomsday rumor swirling. Word on the street is that Marvel's planning to throw everything and everyone into this film to save the brand. Robert Downey Jr. might return, but not as Iron Man. Instead, as a variant of Doctor Doom. Yeah. Let that one stew. Insiders say it's desperation dressed as creativity. Fans call it bait, the same way Multiverse of Madness teased X-Men cameos and killed them in 5 minutes. Do we really trust Marvel to balance this multiversal madness? At this point, even Kong is confused. Marvel's brand used to mean something. Pre-2020, fans would camp out overnight to see a new film. Now, they barely remember what shows are out. Ironheart represents that erosion of trust, empty hype, bad marketing, flimsy world building. Characters pushed into the spotlight without earning it. It's the same pattern we saw with Eternals, She-Hulk, and even the Marvels, all promising a bold new future, none delivering a compelling story. In fact, Disney's recent shareholder meeting revealed something terrifying. Even internal teams don't believe these shows can recover. When asked about Ironheart, one exec reportedly responded, "We're just waiting for it to pass." Yikes. At the end of the day, this isn't about politics or PR. It's about a franchise that forgot its core audience, People loved Marvel because it made heroes human. Tony Stark was brilliant, but flawed. Steve Rogers was pure, but conflicted. Even Thanos had a tragic logic. Ironheart? A super genius who builds suits like she's making a TikTok tutorial. No character development, no vulnerability, no heart. And when fans criticize this, they're labeled toxic. But maybe, just maybe, they're tired of style over substance. Of characters with no arcs, dialogue with no soul, and shows with no stakes. Quick detour. Remember The Acolyte, another Disney series positioned as a game-changer. Instead, it became a lightning rod for fan criticism. Clunky dialogue, empty spectacle, no respect for canon. Ironheart is following that exact path. Disney's streaming division is burning cash, billions, literally, while pushing out content that feels like it was written by committee. Audiences aren't tuning in. Subscriptions have flatlined. Even Anders' creator, Tony Gilroy, recently shaded Disney storytelling. He said the platform encourages content, not story. Oof. Let's be clear, Dominique Thorne is not the villain here. She signed on to play a Marvel lead, a dream gig, and now she's bearing the weight of a sinking franchise. Her press schedule has been cancelled, her red carpet moments, likely gone. And unless something changes dramatically, Ironheart might go down as one of the most thankless gigs in MCU history. It's hard not to feel for her. Like John Boyega in Star Wars or Ray Fisher in Justice League, she's become the face of a broken system, not by choice, but by association. So what now? Bob Iger's team is split. Some want Ironheart erased from continuity, quietly buried like Inhumans. Others want to salvage her by rewriting her character in future projects. Feige reportedly still wants her in Avengers, Doomsday, but that might be a PR nightmare waiting to happen. With so many fan-favorite characters sidelined for years, Nova, anyone, bringing back Ironheart could reignite Backlash, and at this point, Marvel can't afford any more losses. Ironheart was meant to be the next big thing. Instead, it's become a cautionary tale, a tale of ambition without structure, diversity without depth, franchise fatigue without course correction. As the MCU crumbles under its own weight, fans are waking up. They're demanding more. And unless Marvel listens, Ironheart won't be the last project to collapse, just the loudest warning shot yet. So buckle up. Because if this is Marvel's future, we're all in for a bumpy ride. Don't forget to like, share, and comment below. Are you still excited for anything in the MCU? Or has Ironheart officially broken your faith in Marvel? Let's talk.